All right. Hi, families. Welcome to the principal's message from Curriculum Night this week. I'm going to just take you through some of the slides and give you a heads up for things to look out for this school year. Up first, we have my wonderful family. I have been in education for 19 years. Holy cow, I can hardly believe it. I have been in Troy for 12 years and the proud principal of Hill Elementary for 7. I have a wonderful, supportive husband and 3 beautiful kiddos. Olivia is in 7th grade. At Larson, Grayson is in 4th grade at WAS, and Maxwell is in 1st grade at WAS as well. We also have a cute little puppy that was not in this picture at the sand dunes named Teddy, and he is in the background with that little picture. Character education is a huge part of what we do. And in fact, it's not just what we do, it is who we are here at Hill. Husky Pride stands for problem solving, respect, responsibility, integrity, inclusivity, being determined, and showing empathy to those around us. We really want to make sure that we are creating an environment for our students that reminds them that they are here and that they belong here just the way that they are. We meet as multi-grade level Husky teams each month and go over different ways that we can show Husky pride. It's our way of just connecting as a school and making sure that all of our grade levels feel connected to one another. Procedures and protocols. At the beginning of the year, your child came home. We sent it with the oldest child that you have attending Hill, the first day packet. And in this packet, it really highlights some procedures and protocols that will just help us to have a great school year and will help things to run really smoothly. I'm not going to go through the whole thing today, but I am going to just highlight some things that continue to come up. I encourage you to take some time to glance through this packet. And for those of you that glance through it and read it and then go to scan the QR code that's located somewhere within this packet, you will be entered into a raffle. The drawing, wait for it, the prize is your very own parking spot at Hill. So please make sure that you do that by the end of the weekend. Thank you so much. Parking lot. The two things I get the most questions about are the parking lot and the playground. I can answer the playground really quick. The playground is expected to be completed by the end of September, beginning of October. So fingers crossed that we will get those playgrounds up and running and kids will be outside playing and enjoying very soon. For right now, they're on the blacktops playing with materials that were purchased for us from the PTO. So thank you for that. All right, back to parking lot. Parking lot. It's really important that we're all following the rules of the parking lot. Our parking lot was made in 1967, I believe, and it was designed for a neighborhood school, not for all of the commuting, which means that we have to exercise some patience and understanding when we are in the parking lot. Just remember these things. Pull all the way forward to the cones. The 3 cones that are located at the front of the drop-off pickup lane are the only zones that are safe for your child to enter and exit the car. Please make sure that you follow the adults that are in charge. We will be telling you to pull forward. We will be calling your student. So just making sure that you're mindful of those adults that are giving directions out there. Also, it's really important that you do not get out of the car in the car line. The reason for that is that sometimes people go around cars, and I would hate for you or a child to be exiting the car on the left side and a car to not see you and something to happen that's tragic. So please make sure that in the car line, you do not get out of the line. If you need to get your child out of the car, please go into the parking lot, park, and then walk them across the street using the crosswalks. We have 2 crosswalks. Those are the only places that we would like people crossing across our pickup and drop-off lane. Lastly, the things that are off limits to families that are parking are the teacher lot at any time and also the bus loop. Please avoid those areas at every event. Not feeling well. It's the beginning of the school year and the weather's been really nice. So it's hard to even imagine getting a phone call that your child's not feeling well. But if your child it comes to the office and they have a fever of 100.3 or higher, we will give you a phone call and we're asking that you pick them up promptly. Each year we get a brand new thermometer, so to ensure that they are still working well. So if we call you and say that your child has a fever, please trust that we have used an updated battery charged thermometer. Also, another reason you might receive a phone call or you need to keep your child home is if there's vomiting. If the office calls you, please remember to be kind and promptly pick up your child. In addition, if you have any medications that you would like to be administered to your child during the school day, we must have proper documentation on file with us. We are not allowed to give anything, including cough drops, without paperwork from a physician. So please make sure that you do that. I know that sometimes we want our kids to take a cough drop or vitamins, and so we think we'll just put them in their lunchbox and they can take it at school. Please do not send any medications to school with your child either. They could get into the wrong hands, and that could certainly be problematic. So, again, everything is funneled through the office. If your child is not feeling well or is on an antibiotic that they need to take a couple times a day and you aren't able to get to the doctor for us to administer that, you are always welcome to come into the building and administer medication in the office. If you have any questions about that policy or about your child not feeling good or medications, please call the front office and we'd be happy to answer any questions for you. All right, arrival and dismissal. By now, you already know the arrival time and the pickup time, so I won't go over all of that, but remember, all of the important information that you need to know is in that colorful packet that was sent home last week. But these two things I want to bring your attention to because they are new. The first is, if it is necessary to pick up your student early, you must pick them up prior to 3 p.m. The reason for this is that we have other programs that dismiss at 3 p.m., and we need to have our attention on them as we are exiting them from the building and making sure that we are doing that safely. Having extra traffic in the office prevents us from being as efficient as we would like to be. So please try, whenever possible, to pick up your child prior to 3 p.m. If you're planning on picking up your child early from the office will not call your student down until you arrive and we see you in the office. So please plan ahead. If you have to be at the dentist or orthodontist or doctor's appointment, please give yourself a 15 to 30-minute buffer depending on where you're going. Lastly, for this protocols and procedures, I just wanted to point your attention to our district expectation for keeping students safe in the event of an active shooter. We are all trained in the ALICE Institute. This is a system that we use and have been trained by our director of security to use that helps us to get students out of the building safely. We use the book, I Am Not Scared, I'm Prepared, to help have those conversations about how students can advocate for themselves and make sure that they're planning ahead by watching the adult that is in charge. This year, before any ALICE sort of drills, I will be sending a communication to parents. Also, please look out for another opportunity for you to participate in an ALICE Institute of sorts so that you can be a part of what we teach our students. So that's coming soon later this fall. Switching gears, we're going to head into technology. iPads are now given to students ages kindergarten through fifth grade. You will notice that our lower L students, kindergarten through second grade, are going to be using iPads in school, but they will not be necessarily taking them from school to home and back and forth. But as we continue to look at our technology policy throughout the district, we will keep you abreast to any changes and explain the rationale behind all decisions that are made. When thinking about the iPad, we have conversations with our students at the beginning of the year about appropriate use of the iPad. It's important that when you're talking to your student about their school issued iPad, that you parrot these same things so that we're on the same page. One of the most important things that we remind our students is that the iPad, while it's given to your child, is actually property of the Troy School District, which means that at any time if a teacher or a parent needs access to the iPad, they should be able to. The case must always remain on the iPad at all times. I know they're cumbersome, and I know that those protectors don't make the screen as clear at times, but those are on there for a reason to keep it safe. Removing those can cancel the insurance policy that you've paid for. If your teacher has asked, please make sure that the iPad is brought to school charged each day. Only download teacher-approved applications. No passwords are allowed for anything. Picture should be on the lock screen so that anyone can pick up your iPad and know who it belongs to. And please do not set up any private Apple ID or family sharing on the school-issued iPads. We are in a plugged-in culture right now. There's an increase in technology that's related to discipline referrals. Average of 8 to 18-year-old students are plugged into digital media devices for over 7 hours a day, which does not include time spent texting or talking on a phone. Almost 75% of children aged 8 and younger have access to some type of smart mobile device, at home device, or something. And preschoolers can spend up to 4.5 hours plus using a screen or social media. Almost 40% of 2 to 4-year-olds use a smartphone or tablet. These statistics are out there, and technology is a wonderful tool. However, our youngest learners, their brains are not primed to be on technology all the time. As a district and as a building, we are looking at ways to amend our policies in technology, making sure that we are more in line with what pediatricians would suggest are good times to use technology. Here's what we can do as parents and adults that have a technology. We can model the appropriate way to use technology. Being present is something that we notice our students that have access to phones and technology sometimes miss. So instead of looking into their eyes, we're looking at their foreheads as they're looking on the screen. So modeling, maybe at dinner or when you're out at a social event, phones and tablets being put away so that we can interact with those around us. Control the Wi-Fi. They can't get on their tablet if they don't have access to the Wi-Fi. So maybe putting a timer on that or only giving them access at certain times. Remove the temptation. If your child should not have the iPad at home and you're concerned that they're using it too much, asking a classroom teacher if we can just keep it at school, and we're certainly happy to help you with that. Balance. Talking about there's a time and a place to use your iPad and that your iPad is a tool for you to learn at school, not a tool for mindless entertainment. Set limits. Not having your iPad next to your bed when you're sleeping, that can just be a temptation that you can remove by having a spot where your children are locking up their iPad and putting in a safe spot. And then monitor the usage. Maybe there are certain times that your child can use their iPad at home. And what I love the most is just talking about it. If you feel like your child's maybe using it too much, or if you're concerned, if you haven't looked at it, just talking about social media, talking about technology, talking about why we use screens. That's going to be a great way to have conversations with your students about technology use as well. Lastly, on this topic, the district has brought a book to us called The Anxious Generation. I had the pleasure of reading it this summer, and it's already changed the way that I'm parenting and my relationship with my phone and devices. The district is going to offer an opportunity for parents to engage in a book club around the book, The Anxious Generation. And so I'm putting it here for you so that if you're interested, you can go ahead and order it on Audible and listen to it, or order the book and read it. It's about 400 plus pages, so you might want to start now, but it is a great read and I would recommend it for all parents. My time is almost up, but before I go, I just wanted to share with you that I will be communicating with you weekly through the Huskies Howl. In the Huskies Howl, you will find updates, things that are going around in our building, things that I need you to know. So please take time to peruse that. We have chosen this format for the newsletter because it allows us to translate it in a variety of different languages. So please consider doing that and plugging into what our school has to offer. Another way I communicate with you is through emails. Some weeks I feel like I send more emails than others, but that's brought to you through our district platform. If you unsubscribe from emails within the Troy School District, unfortunately, you won't receive my emails either. So please make sure that you're continuing to be subscribed. And if you're not receiving emails, please contact the front office and Mrs. Diebel will look into that for you. Lastly, many of our new families and our families that have been here in the past are looking for ways to get involved. A great way to get involved is to volunteer. Classroom teachers might offer opportunities for you to volunteer depending on what's going on throughout the year. But another way that you can volunteer and stay connected is through the PTO. On the screen, there are two QR codes. If you scan both of those, you'll have access to the PTO page on Instagram and Facebook. Both of these are monitored by our PTO board, and we're able to put the most up to date information on those pages. You have a question, that's a great place to ask. All right. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this. Remember, please take that packet that you received at the beginning of the school year, take a look at it, scan the QR code, and get yourself entered into the parking lot spot raffle. I appreciate you and your partnership, and I look forward to a wonderful year. Take care.